Well, you've all been asking for more videos, so welcome, Jackie Mazzucato here from Fleurieu Food and Wine. Wonderful trip to Italy. I brought back my little Italian chef hat and it's getting a lot of use in the kitchen. But it really did inspire me back into some of my Italian cooking, which, you know I love cooking all cuisines, but Italian has always been an absolute favourite and was certainly a favourite of my kids while they were growing up. So today, and I've hidden some ingredients, but today we are going to cook some bolognese sauce, but the bolognese sauce is for lasagna for tomorrow's lunch. My daughter's coming down to see me and she's always loved lasagna, and I know she works hard during the week, so I thought I'd better give her a special mum cooked meal. Now, some traditional ingredients here, oil, onions, garlic. I've got a beef pork mince, some tomatoes and some passata here. All very traditional, but I want it to be very cost effective, and I know everyone's sort of hurting with the cost of living at the moment and we want things to spread a little bit further. I now have a couple of extra guests I wasn't expecting tomorrow for lunch, so I need to spread the lasagna a little bit further amongst some hungry souls. So what I've done is, and what I have always done, especially when my kids were little and I was hiding vegetables, is I've got some extra ingredients here. Now, before I talk about these extra ingredients, I do want to just talk about the oil that I've got. So those that have watched a lot of my videos and those of you that have come to the cooking classes will know I don't like to waste anything, particularly if it's got flavour. So you might think this is olive oil, but this is actually half olive oil and half anchovy oil. My husband loves anchovies straight from the jar, but you have this wonderful salty anchovy oil left at the bottom. So I actually use that in my cooking instead of adding a lot more salt and things like that as well, and it is delicious. That little anchovy sort of taste will actually just bring a better depth of that sort of salty flavour to your cooking. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up my pan, I'm going to add my olive oil, and I'm going to cook off my onions. Now I want to cook those in a really slow way, just so that they start to caramelise and go translucent. I don't want them to brown off, but I do want the sweetness to come out. I'm going to use probably not all of that oil, I'll use what I need of that oil, and I'm going to come back and show you in a little while what those onions look like after I've cooked them on a low heat on the oven. Now, I am using my cast iron pan today. I love the cast iron pan, especially when I'm doing a long slow cook. I mean, this bolognese sauce will sit on the oven top for probably between 4 or 5 hours this afternoon, just slowly cooking away. So because I've got the cast iron, it's going to have a nice even distribution of the heat, and the sides will also heat as well. So that's what I'm doing this morning. We're then going to come back and we're going to make the cheese sauce that I use for lasagna. We'll pop the lasagna together later on this afternoon, and we'll then have that ready to go in the oven. So I'm back here now, just slowly and patiently cooking these onions off. They're going to take probably anywhere sort of from 15 minutes to 20 minutes, because I really do just want to melt them. Now, whilst my onions are cooking away in the background, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about some of the things that I'm putting into my bolognese sauce today. Now, bolognese, traditionally from Bologna, I'm certainly not making a traditional bolognese today. I'm making a Jackie bolognese today. And, part of that is about the fact that I like to actually also make sure I'm getting a lot of other nutrients and fruit and vegetables and things like that into my diet where I can, and particularly when my kids were little, into their diet. So, right, well, my onions have been cooking away. They smell delicious. They're just translucent. They haven't gone brown. I've got a little bit of flavour growing on the bottom of the bowl, but that's all fine. Now, some people take out their onions and then cook their meat. I'm just going to pop some of this garlic in. Now, I've got 2 very large cloves of garlic here, but 4 to 5 cloves of garlic is fine. Depends how much you like garlic, really. But we don't mind the garlic in this house, and so I've got 2 large cloves, equivalent of 4 smaller cloves. So I'm only going to just cook that one off for a minute or so, and then I'm going to throw my meat in. Again, some people do that in batches. I'm a home cook. We just whack it in with the onions, and then we just brown that meat off. Now, the reason we're browning the meat off is that it brings more flavour into our dish. So it's whenever I cook anything like a casserole, a stew, a bolognese, any meat dish, I always brown my meat off first, and you'll get little bits that will catch on the bottom and caramelise, and that will bring more taste as well. And you've got to love a fun hat, don't you? Okay, so my mushrooms are cooked off, my beef's browned off, my onions are cooked through and caramelised beautifully. I've added the garlic. I'm just going to add the zucchini now, the carrot. Just give that a little mix through, just to heat that through, and you'll see that, you know, it's starting to already give you a lot more than you would normally have from just having a minced version. So I've just stirred that one through. Just cook it off a couple of minutes. Now apparently someone left some wine in the bottle last night. There's just this little bit of red wine in the bottom. So I was thinking I could either have a glass while I cook, or you know what, let's just do it. Oh, delicious. This will bring a beautiful richness to the dish, and you know, I really like the addition of red wine. The alcohol cooks off if you put it in before you put in your tomato and your tomato paste. But again, even if you didn't, you put it in after the tomato paste, it's going to reduce down, the sauce is going to reduce down. You're going to have very, very minimal, if any, alcohol left, because remember, we're going to cook this for 4 or 5 hours. Right, that's cooked down beautifully. The wine's just reduced down to about half of what I've put in. So it's just a little bit of liquid there in the bottom. I've taken off all the nice caramelised bits on the bottom. So now I'm going to add my passata. Now, this passata is homemade, and it's already got salt, pepper, basil, bay leaves, and other herbs. I'll probably add another bay leaf whilst this is cooking away, but love using homemade passata. I don't like a lot of additives and preservatives in my cooking, and I just think the flavour you get out of a homemade passata is great. But most of the passatas you get at the supermarket are all pretty natural, and will be just as effective in here as well. Oh, the smell, I love the smells when I'm cooking. So I've done that, and then I've just got 2 tins of tomatoes here. So I'm just going to add those in there. Make sure we get all of that beautiful tomato out of that dish. Waste not, want not, they say. So I've added that in now. I'm going to throw my lentils in. I haven't pre-cooked them, and the reason I haven't pre-cooked them is because they're going to spend a fair amount of time in here anyway. So I might have had only 1 kilo of meat, but I seem to have, and it'll cook down a bit, but I'll have, you know, probably almost 2 kilos of bolognese mix. So we'll have a look at that once it's all cooked down. But if you have a look at my pot there, you can see beautiful, beautiful spaghetti bolognese ready now for its cook. And so what I'm going to do is I'll wait for this sauce to heat all the way through, and once that's heated all the way through, I'm going to turn this down to a very, very low heat, pop it on the back just so it's out of the way, and let that simmer away with the lid off for about 4 hours. As I'm checking on it regularly, I'll make sure there's enough liquid in there. You can add some more water and things like that just to let it reduce down. Remembering, as the sauce is reducing, the flavour's intensifying, but we might need just a little bit more water that will still evaporate off just to keep it loose. We're going to take this one to a fairly thick sauce because we want to use it for our lasagna. Now, as I'm cooking away my bechamel, and I've also got the bolognese sauce, what I wanted to do now, and you can kind of do this any time with your bolognese, but I do need to get the salt pig out. We love that, salt pig, just because it's got a nose like a pig. Anyway, I need to season my sauce and, you know, a little bit of my pasta sauce. Salt and pepper seasoning will bring out all the other tastes and flavours from the meal. So get out the big ass pepper shaker. I've had this one for many, many years. It's one of my favourite kitchen things. I think it's probably 30 years old. But don't be shy. And don't be shy on putting pepper into your bechamel sauce either, because this brings a little zing and it's delicious. Delicious. So this one here has been cooking away beautifully. It's nice and thick, it's beautiful and smooth, and now we're going to add the cheese. So I'm probably not going to add all of that cheese. I kind of will add like a big handful, and if you had big hands, that's what a big handful would be. So on my hands, my little hands, it's about 1.5 handfuls. But I want my sauce to be nice and cheesy. You don't have to add the cheese. Like if you wanted to, you know, leave it out, you can. You've got to add cheese to the top of your lasagna. You can just use the white sauce, but you want that to be nice and thick. So whilst that cheese is melting down, our beautiful sauce is cooking away, we'll be ready for tomorrow. I'm not going to assemble this lasagna until tomorrow. I'll just reheat my bechamel, throw my sauce down in the bottom, use my bechamel, put my lasagna sheets down. We're going to show you all of that tomorrow. Alternatively, I could put it together today, leave it in the fridge and then put it in the oven tomorrow. Probably my preference if I was going to put it together today would be to actually cook it today and then just reheat it tomorrow. But you know, I prefer to cook fresh on the day. Everyone's different. So I'm going to have everything ready to go, assemble, pop it in the oven, fill the house full of the aromas of my cooking. The most important stage of this cook, like this is really, really, really critical. So my sauce is going beautifully, thickening beautifully. We've got the bolognese just beautifully cooking away, is the meat part. But now I've had to fill it past the line just so you can see my beautiful Fleurieu food and wine logo. This is the time where you're just having a little chill in the kitchen and a little sip. Salute. A gorgeous red wine to go with some of the gorgeous flavours and the smells and the aromas. But that's me for the next 20 minutes or so, just my little glass of wine in my kitchen, in my little chef's hat, getting everything ready. So here we are. I've made a double batch of the bechamel because remember I've got extra people coming. But look at this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sauce. And that's going to be beautiful in the lasagna tomorrow. I've got some absolutely gorgeous sauce cooking away and I just wanted to show you how that was going. So let's have a look. Oh, you should smell this kitchen. Even better, haven't drunk too much of the wine yet, but I'm getting there. So we're back the next day. We're doing Jackie's lasagna. So we've already talked about some of the differences I have in my bolognese sauce, like the addition of lentils. Don't tell John I put lentils in the bolognese sauce. Anyway.
I heard that.
All we need to do today, friends are coming at 1 o'clock. It's about 10:30 now, so I thought I'll just grab everything out. I've just heated this sauce through just a little bit, just so I can work with it. And there's our beautiful sauce. I've got my lasagna sheets. I did tell you yesterday that these ones were perfectly fine because they've got the Italian flag. The actual reality of these and why I like these ones is they fit in my lasagna dish perfectly. So we're just going to load this one up now. Beautiful, beautiful amount of sauce in the bottom here. Nice thick layer. All those beautiful veggies, the carrot. Yes, don't tell John I put zucchini in the spaghetti sauce. We'll just tell him we put red wine in there. That's perfect. So we've got a nice layer there, nice thick layer on the bottom of the pot of the spaghetti sauce and bolognese sauce. And then we're just going to put 3 of these across the top. I overlap them a little bit just so that they fit nicely in the pan. And then we are going to put a nice layer of our bechamel sauce, our cheesy, cheesy bechamel sauce. I kind of cheese this one up a little bit. You know, we're not talking about a diet lasagna here. We're talking about Jackie's lasagna. It's homemade, it's delicious, but it's not for you if you're watching your waistline. Maybe just a small piece with a bit of salad. But we're having a beautiful family Sunday lunch and we need delicious cheesy bechamel on the lasagna sheets. So once I've done that, put my bechamel on, just start layering. I probably have enough sauce here, not only for our lunch today. So remember I used 500 grams of pork, 500 grams of beef, the extra veggies and lentils to puff it out a bit more. But I'll be able to make one for the freezer as well. They're great, you can put them all pre-made up in the freezer if you like, ready to go, or you could just use the extra sauce for another meal during the week as with spaghetti, bolognese, that sort of thing. So, you know, whilst we've used 1 kilo of meat, it's been a fairly economical meal. As I said, a little bit more bechamel on the top. Now you can have a cheesy bechamel sauce just straight on pasta if you want. It's beautiful. I know that kids like that one. But that's all done now. And I'm going to finish it off. I love nothing better than a whole lot of cheese on top. As I said, we're not watching our wastes today. We're having a nice, beautiful, hearty family meal and Sunday lunch. So that's going to get all of that cheese on top, all spread around, because that's the bit that goes all yummy and caramelised and crispy, and everyone's favourite is the top of the lasagna. So that's our top. A little bit of pepper. Voila, a little bit of pepper, just to finish it off. And we're ready for the oven. So I'm going to bake this for as long as it needs in a 180 degree fan forced oven. You'll know when it's ready, like, you know, probably 45 minutes to an hour, but you'll know when it's ready when you can smell the beautiful aromas coming from your oven. But yeah, 45 minutes to an hour in a 180 degree fan forced oven, and you'll be ready for lunch. Buon appetito.